Hi there, I'm Dr. Shreyash from Gold Gym India. Today, on the occasion of International Yoga Day, let us try to understand what is yoga and the different branches of yoga. Yoga is one of the 6 orthodox systems of Indian philosophy. It was discovered 2200 years ago by a sage named Patanjali in his classical work, the Yoga Sutras, which consists of 196 aphorisms. According to the Indian philosophy, each and every thing, that is, each and every object, rocks, trees, everything that is all matter is permeated by the Creator, which we all call God and which is called as Paramatma in Sanskrit. And the individual soul is called as Jivatma. By the regular practice of yoga, the individual spirit, that is Jivatma, comes in union with the universal spirit, that is Paramatma, which leads to a state called as moksha, that is liberation. And that explains why yoga comes from the root Sanskrit word yuj, and yuj means to unite or to combine. It is the unity of the Jivatma with the Paramatma. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, yoga is not for the person who eats too much, not for him who starves too much, not for him who stays awake too much, and not for him who sleeps too much. Yoga means moderation in eating and in resting. Yoga simply means balance, which destroys all pain and sorrow. The system of yoga consists of 8 practices. These practices are called as Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga literally means 8 body parts. These 8 practices of Ashtanga Yoga are supposed to be learned in chronological order as follows. The first practice of yoga is yama, which means prohibitions. That is, prohibiting yourself from adharmic deeds, that is, unethical deeds. There are 5 yamas which prohibit you from unethical behavior. The first yama is ahimsa, which prohibits you from harming any living being. The second yama is satya, which prohibits lying. The third yama is asteya, which prohibits stealing. The fourth yama is brahmacharya, which prohibits inappropriate sexual act. The fifth yama is aparigraha, which prohibits possessiveness. These 5 unethical behaviors will incept stress in your life. Following these 5 yamas on regular basis will make your life stress-free. And a stress-free life leads you to meditation. The second yogic practice is niyama, that is injunctions, which means development of various dharmic virtues. The first virtue or niyama is saucha, which mandates purity and cleanliness of body and mind. The second virtue or niyama is santosh, which mandates containment and refraining. The third niyama is tapas, which means spiritual disciplines like fasting. The fourth niyama is swadhyaya, which mandates studies, mainly spiritual studies. The fifth niyam is Ishwar Pranidhana, which means worship and prayer. These 5 niyamas or virtues help you to prepare your body and mind for meditation. These 5 yamas and niyamas are directions or pointers to control your behavior. The yamas and niyamas develop a lifestyle which will favor meditation. The next 3 practices of yoga actually help you to control your system, and they are as follows. The third practice of yoga is yogasanas or postures. These are the primary focus of yogic practices in today's modern world. In yoga studios throughout the world, various yogasanas are practiced with great enthusiasm. But unfortunately, these yogasanas are practiced with little or no attention to the other 7 practices of yoga. This narrow focus on just the yogasanas and yogic postures is the modern trend. By regularly performing difficult yoga postures, your body becomes strong and capable of sitting for meditation for a long period of time. Which means even this third practice of yoga is directed towards meditation. But remember one thing, performing only yoga postures without meditation following them is like preparing a tasty meal on the dinner table and not eating it. The third practice of yoga is pranayam, that is breathing exercises. This is to further prepare your body and mind for meditation. The ancient yogis discovered a well-known physiological fact, which is also known to the modern science, that your breath and your central nervous system are closely connected. When you are stressed and anxious, your breathing naturally becomes rapid and shallow. And on the other hand, your breathing slows down and grows deeper till your abdomen when you are relaxed and calm. Your central nervous system affects your breathing, and in the same way, your breathing affects the central nervous system. A shallow and rapid breathing activates your central nervous system, and a slow, deep breathing calms your nervous system. So the practice of pranayam is directed to calm your central nervous system by slowing and deepening your breathing. The fifth practice of yoga is pratyahara, which means withdrawal of your senses. It is impossible to find 100% quiet and undisturbing place for meditation. So it is important to develop the skill to withdraw your senses, especially your sense of hearing, so you won't be distracted while meditation. By deep focused meditation, your attention is automatically withdrawn from your senses. For example, when you are busy doing some work, you many times miss out listening to someone calling your name. The secret to sense withdrawal is concentration of your attention. And this concentration of attention is the sixth practice of yoga, which is called as dharana. Dharana simply means concentration of your attention. Here, you concentrate your attention on an object of meditation. You can concentrate on many things: on the sound of Om, on a mantra, on your breathing, on a sacred image, or a candle flame, or as suggested in the Bhagavad Gita, you can concentrate your attention on the divine presence within you. The seventh stage of yoga is the flowering of all the 6 practices done before. This seventh stage is often compared to a stream of oil which is flowing slowly and steadily. The steady stream of oil represents the perfectly uniform flow of your thoughts focused on the object of meditation, even though your mind is active and flowing like the oil. This gives rise to an experience of deep stillness and perfect tranquility, which is called as dhyana. The regular experience of dhyana will lead you to a state called as samadhi. Samadhi is the last 8th stage of yoga. Samadhi simply means absorption. In the 7th step of dhyana, you as a meditator remain separate from the object of meditation. But in the 8th step of samadhi, that is absorption, the sense of separateness between you and your object of meditation slowly and gradually diminishes, and you become one with the object of meditation. In samadhi, there is no distinction between you and the world. All becomes one. Guys, I hope this video helps you to understand that yoga is not just about yogasanas and pranayam. Yogasanas and pranayam are 2 of the 8 stages that we saw in this video. Guys, I hope you liked this video. Make sure that you share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Gold's Gym India YouTube channel. A very happy yoga day to all of you.